Good morning, everybody. Yesterday we talked about using the distributive property, okay, uh, to simplify equations or expressions. Sorry. So today, and I told you yesterday on that video that today we're going to talk about factoring an expression. Okay. So I've already filled in just a little bit here, so we didn't have to wait for me to write it. Expressions can be factored to remove the common factor. Okay. This is how we technically undo the distributive property. Okay, so we'll do the reverse, which is factoring of what we did yesterday. So determine the greatest. So the first step we have. So number one, we determine the greatest common factor between the values. Okay, so we're going to get practice on knowing our multiplication and our division in doing this factoring. Number two, we're going to remove the greatest common factor by dividing each term by it. Okay, so we have an example here. Okay, and that is 6x plus 15. Okay, so we want to find the greatest common factor. All right, or better known as the GCF. Okay. Of this expression. So we want to find the number that the largest number that goes into both 6 and 15. Okay, so this is already done for you. That greatest common factor is 3. Okay, so we're going to pull the 3 out and we're going to place it on the outside just like they do here. Okay, we'll place the 3 on the outside and we're going to take that 3 and 6 divided by 3 will give us 2, which gives us our 2x. Okay, we have plus, so we're going to take our operation over here. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, so now we have 3 and in parentheses 2x plus 5. Okay, so what this is telling us is this right here is equal to this right here. Okay, we just took this simplified expression and we expanded it out to what it originally was. Okay, now looking at these blocks down here might be an easier way for you all to understand it and actually do it. So we're going to take the two terms that are in our expression, and we're going to place them in the boxes. Okay, and depending on how many expressions that we have depends on how many boxes. So we have two terms, so we have two boxes. Now, what this says is 4x plus 16. Now, this says plus 16 because this is a positive 16. If there was a negative in here, this would be minus 16. Okay, if there was a negative 16, this would be minus 16. Okay, but that's a positive 16. So what we want to do is we want to pull the greatest common factor out. So we want to know what the greatest factor is that goes into 4 and 16. Okay, so when we pull that out, one of the easiest ways to look at it, or to first try if you're not so sure, is to take that coefficient and divide it by your constant. Okay, and see if this one goes into this one. Okay, we want to factor that out. We want to pull that number out, that greatest common factor. In this case, the greatest common factor is 4. Okay, we're going to put it to the left of the boxes. Okay, so if we pull a 4 out, well, I'm pulling that 4 out, right? All that leaves me with is x. Okay. When I go over to the 16, if I pulled a 4 out, I'm dividing this by my greatest common factor. So 16 divided by 4, and this is a positive 4, so that's a positive 4. Okay, so 16 divided by 4 is 4. So now if I just look at it like this, okay, I've pulled my 4 out. Whatever's on top of my boxes will go in the parentheses. So x, and this is a positive 4, so it would be plus 4. Okay? So here is my expression when I factor it. Okay? So I factored a 4 out of this, and I got 4 times x plus 4. Okay? Alright, so let's look at this next one. Again, we want to pull the greatest common factor. Again, this is not negative, it's a positive. Okay? So, I'm just going to add a little plus sign there, so that way I know what to do when I factor this. So if I'm looking at this, it should look like 12x plus 18. Okay, so these boxes represent this equation right here, or this expression, sorry. There's no equal sign, so it's not an equation. So what factors, what are the factors of 12? So we have 3 and 4, so 3 times 4 gets you 12. We have 12 times 1, and we have 6 times 2. Okay, those are all the factors of 12. Okay, the factors of 18, 1 and 18. 9 times 2 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18. So when I look at all these factors, I'm going to find that 6 is my greatest factor. Okay, my greatest common factor. So I'm going to pull my greatest common factor. So that'll be 6. Okay, and then I'm just going to divide this by this. So 12 divided by 6 will give me 2. Well, I'm going to bring my x with it. Okay, 18 divided by 6, well, I said that's 3. Okay, and that's a positive 18, so that's plus. Okay, so like I said earlier, once you pull that factor out, that's going to be the number that's on the outside of the parentheses. So now I have 6, and then I'm going to, in parentheses, above my box, 2x plus 3. Okay? So this expression and this one, well, they are the same. Okay? Because when I simplify this, I get this. Okay? When I factor out the greatest common factor, I get this. Okay? So let's look at 3 more examples. And we can use the box on this. Okay? So now I have, in my first box, I'm going to have 6a. Okay. And then I have 2, and that's a positive 2, so that's a plus 2. Okay. All right, so I want to find the greatest common factor, so I'm going to start with the smallest number. Okay, the factors of 2 are 1 and 2. That's it. Okay. So the factors of 6, I have 1 and 6. I have 2 and 3. So my greatest common factor is going to be my 2. So I'm going to pull my 2 out. Okay. Then I'm going to take the factor that I pulled out, and I'm going to use that and divide my terms. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, and I'm going to bring my variable with it. So 3a. This is a positive 2, so 2 divided by 2 is 1. This outside number, that's going to be on the outside of parentheses, and anything above the boxes, that's what's in your parentheses. Okay? Alright, so let's do number 14 here. I have 24x. I'll make a box. And then I have minus 9, so that'll be negative 9. Okay, or minus 9. I just want to make sure that I know if I'm going to add or subtract these. So again, let's pull out the let's start with the smallest. So I have 1 and 9, and then I have 3 and 3. Those are my factors of 9. So my largest factor is 9, so let's see if I can get to 9. So I should have 1 and 24. Okay. Then I have 2 and 12. And then I have 3 and 8. Okay. Now I also have 6 and 4, but I don't have those over here as a factor. So as I can see, 3 is my greatest common factor. So I'm going to pull my 3 out, and then I'm going to divide. So I'm going to do 24 divided by 3, and that gives me 8. And bring my x up with it. I'm going to have my subtraction there. And then 9 divided by 3, well, 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, so anything above the boxes is in my parentheses. This will be on the outside. 3 times 8x minus 3. Okay, so these boxes are pretty helpful. Alright, so now we have 10x, and then that's a plus 35, so plus 35, okay. Alright, let's see, let's start with 10. I have 10 and 1, and I have 2 and 5, okay. That's as far as I can go with my factors, so I'm looking for a 10, 5, 2, or 1. So 35 and 1. 2 does not go into that evenly. 3 will not go into 35 evenly. 4 will not. 5 will. Okay? So 5 and 7. So my greatest common factor is 5. So that's going to be my outside number. Anything up here is going to be in my parentheses. 10 divided by 5 is 2x. Okay, bring my variable up. That's a plus 35, so that'll be a plus 35 divided by 5 will be 7. So now I'm just going to move this up. 2x plus 7 times by 5. Okay? So you can use these boxes and they help. Okay? Pretty good visual for this. So that's how you would factor. Now, if you have more than 2 terms, then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find a factor for all 3 or all 4. Okay, I might throw a couple of them in there. Okay, but we just want to pull the greatest common factor out, and then we can look at putting those in our parentheses. And then we're going to divide whatever we pull out in our terms. So our term divided by the greatest common factor. The term divided by the greatest common factor. Okay? I will show you just a little way if you have a multiplication chart with you. So hold on just a second. Okay, so one way you can find the factors of a number, okay, and this one, I'm sorry, it's not very big right now. Okay, I don't have one printed out, but I have one right here. So for like 35, okay, and if I have my multiplication chart, and you can find these on the internet, you can download one on your phone, or you can just kind of pause this one and look through it. So if I'm going to find the factors of 35, okay, well, I can go through here and look for 35. Okay? Now, we know that a factor of a number is itself in 1. Okay? That's with every number. Okay? So we know we're going to be able to break it down once. Sorry. Okay? In this, well, our multiplication only goes to 12. Okay, and most of the time that's all we need. So if we go through here and look for 35, well, there's 35 right here. Okay, so a number, this number times this number, well, look, gives you 35. That's how you would find it. So if I find my factor or my term, and then I'm going to look at the numbers that multiply to be that term. Okay? So let's look for 10, okay, because 10's on here several times. So 10, I know 10 in itself. Okay, so 10 times 1. Okay. I also have what? 5 times 2, so 5 times 2. Okay. And if you're going around, if you're doing your 2's, 2 times 5. Okay? But it doesn't matter. Whichever way you write it, it's still 2 times 5. Okay? So you can find your factors by using your multiplication chart. Okay? And the same thing goes for how to divide. So if you're not sure, you're going to say, well, 35 divided by 5. Well, there's 35. 5 times what number gives me 35? 7. Well, so that means 35 divided by 5 will give me 7. Okay? So just a way of, you can use your math journal if you still have it at home. It's probably got that in the back of it. Okay? So you'll have maybe 10 questions on these. Okay? To give you some work on them. If it helps, use the box method right here, okay? The terms above the box are in your parentheses, and the number that is to the left is going to be on the outside of the parentheses, okay? Other than that, so there's factoring. This will be due Wednesday, or today, at midnight. There'll be about 10 questions on it. Okay? Oh, one last thing. We're going to see how many people are actually watching the video. Email me the number 100. Okay? I'll give you some bonus points. If you've watched that video this long, 18 minutes, email me this number right here. Okay? 100. You all have a good day.